Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world of delay. We hesitate, we postpone, we tell ourselves that tomorrow will be better suited for action, for courage, for duty. But tomorrow is a ghost, always retreating as we reach for it. The only moment given to us, the only moment we truly own, is now. What is it that you have been waiting to do? To speak truth? To seek forgiveness? To take the first step toward a long-dreamed-of goal? How easily we excuse ourselves, saying we will act when we feel more prepared, when the timing is perfect, when we are stronger, wiser, braver. But the truth is this: action does not wait for perfection, nor does courage grow in idleness. Many will say, "What if I fail?" But I ask, what if you do not? Even if failure meets you, is it not better to have tried than to have wasted the time given to you? It is in the striving that we are refined. It is in the doing that we discover our strength. Consider, too, the weight of delay. Every day we wait to do what is right, we strengthen the chains of habit that hold us back. Procrastination is not a pause, it is a slow erosion of will. What is difficult today will be harder tomorrow, and soon impossible. But oh, how swiftly things change when we act. The smallest deed done today is greater than the grandest intention left for tomorrow. A kind word spoken now, a step taken now, a choice made now. These are the seeds from which great things grow. So I say to you, do not wait. Whatever is in your heart to do, whatever is good, noble, and true, do it now. The moment will never be more perfect than this one. Do not wait to live. Do not wait to love. Do not wait to be bold. The idea of tomorrow is one of the greatest deceivers of mankind. It whispers to us with a soft, reassuring voice, promising that there will always be more time, more opportunities, more chances to do what must be done. It lulls us into a sense of safety, as if we can afford to wait, as if the days ahead are guaranteed. We make plans, we dream, we intend, but so often we do not act. We convince ourselves that waiting is wisdom, that hesitation is prudence, that tomorrow will present us with better circumstances, and so we remain still, trapped not by chains of iron, but by the delicate yet unbreakable web of delay. It is easy to believe that tomorrow will offer us a clearer mind, a stronger heart, or a more convenient season. We tell ourselves that when the conditions align, when we feel more prepared, we will finally take the step forward. But this is a dangerous illusion. The future is not in our hands, nor is it shaped by our wishes. We have no claim upon it, no right to assume that it will unfold as we imagined. The only time we possess, the only moment in which we can act, is now. Procrastination is not merely the act of pushing tasks aside, it is the slow decay of intention. A day becomes a week becomes a year, and before we realize it, our most cherished aspirations have faded into distant, wistful memory. We look back, wondering where the time has gone, how the days slipped away unnoticed. We had thought we were waiting for the right moment, yet all along it was the waiting itself that robbed us of our purpose. Fear often plays a part in this deception. We delay because we fear failure, rejection, or the weight of responsibility. It is more comfortable to postpone than to risk the discomfort of action, but fear does not disappear with time. It deepens. The longer we wait, the heavier the burden of inaction grows. The imagined obstacles we feared so much do not shrink with delay. They loom larger, casting longer shadows over our resolve. And soon, the thing we once desired to do, the step we longed to take, feels impossible. Time does not slow its pace for our hesitation. It moves forward, indifferent to our fears and doubts. Opportunities pass, doors close, and moments that could have shaped us slip through our fingers. There is no certainty that what is possible today will remain so tomorrow. The person we are in this instant, the one who feels the pull to act, the one who senses the urgency, may not be the same person in a year or even in a day. The illusion of tomorrow is a thief, stealing not just our time but our very lives. We do not lose our days all at once in great noticeable tragedies. We lose them quietly, in the small, forgettable decisions to wait just a little longer. We often believe that before we take action, we must first be ready. We think readiness means having full confidence, complete knowledge, or perfect circumstances. But readiness, in the way we imagine it, rarely arrives. If we wait until we feel entirely prepared, we will wait forever. The truth is, action must come first. It is in doing that we become ready. It is in moving forward, even with uncertainty, that we develop the skill, wisdom, and strength we assume must be in place beforehand. Many of the most significant moments in life do not come with a sense of full preparedness. The first time we speak in front of an audience, the first time we begin a new job, the first time we take a risk for something we care about. These moments are often accompanied by doubt and hesitation, but it is only by stepping into them, by acting despite our fears, that we learn what we are truly capable of. Readiness is not a requirement for action, it is a result of it. Consider a child learning to walk. The child does not wait until their legs are strong enough, until they understand balance completely, or until they are certain they will not fall. They try, they stumble, they fall, and they rise again. With each attempt, their muscles strengthen, their coordination improves, and what once seemed impossible becomes second nature. This is true for all growth. We do not become skilled before we begin. We become skilled because we begin. Fear convinces us that we must be more prepared before we act. It tells us that failure is proof we should have waited, that mistakes mean we were not ready. But this is the lie that keeps people stagnant. No one achieves anything great without first facing uncertainty. No writer pens their masterpiece before writing a flawed first draft. No musician plays beautifully without first enduring the discord of wrong notes. No leader steps forward with complete certainty. Growth comes from movement, from experience, from learning in the midst of doing. Action builds confidence in a way that preparation alone never can. We may read every book on swimming, study the technique, memorize the steps, and feel as prepared as possible. But the real knowledge, the real ability, comes the moment we step into the water and begin to move. Only then do we truly understand what is required. Only then do we find our rhythm. The longer we wait for readiness, the harder it becomes to begin. Hesitation builds walls around action, making what once required a small step feel like an insurmountable leap. But the moment we act, the walls crumble. Each step forward brings clarity, strength, and the realization that readiness was never what we needed, only the willingness to begin. Failure is often seen as the great antagonist, something to be avoided at all costs. We fear it, avoid it, and imagine that its presence signifies the end of progress. But in reality, failure is not the enemy we believe it to be. It is not the adversary, but rather a companion on the road to growth and success. Without failure, there is no learning, no improvement, and no transformation. To fear failure is to fear progress itself. Failure in its purest form is simply the result of attempting something that does not work as expected. It is a step in the process of discovery, not an indication of inadequacy. We are often told to fail forward, and yet the fear of failure keeps many from moving at all. What we don't realize is that each failure carries within it a lesson, a piece of wisdom that we would never have gained without the struggle. The greatest minds, the most accomplished artists, the most successful entrepreneurs, all faced failure, sometimes repeatedly, before reaching their heights. If failure were truly the enemy, would it not be strange that the most accomplished people have failed the most? Every failure brings with it the opportunity to learn, adapt, and refine our approach. When we fall short of our expectations, we are given the chance to ask why and how. What went wrong? What could we have done differently? These questions are the seeds of improvement. The ability to rise from failure is not a trait that one is born with. It is a skill honed through experience. When we fail, we are forced to confront our limitations, our assumptions, and our strategies, which is often the most effective way to grow. Failure also teaches resilience. It shows us that success is not a straight line, but rather a series of twists and turns, stops and starts. Every successful person has faced adversity, but it is their ability to bounce back, to try again, that sets them apart. The fear of failure keeps us paralyzed, but in truth the greatest danger lies in avoiding it altogether. We fail when we refuse to try, when we choose comfort over challenge, when we let fear dictate our actions. Moreover, failure offers us the gift of humility. It reminds us that we are not invincible, that we are fallible, and that there is always room for improvement. This humility is not a weakness, but rather a strength. It keeps us grounded, helps us remain open to new ideas, and fosters a willingness to keep learning. It is not failure that breaks us. It is the refusal to acknowledge it, to learn from it, and to persist in spite of it. We often think of failure as the end, but in reality it is a beginning. It is the moment that forces us to reassess, recalibrate, and move forward with more wisdom than we had before. Failure is not the enemy, it is the catalyst for growth, a necessary part of the journey toward achievement. If we fear failure, we limit our potential. If we embrace it, we unlock the possibility for true success. When we delay, we often think we are merely postponing something for a later, more convenient time, but the truth is that each moment we choose to wait is another link in a chain that binds us. The longer we hesitate, the stronger that chain becomes, until one day, the very thought of action seems impossible. What began as a small hesitation gradually turns into a paralyzing inertia, and what could have been an easy step forward becomes an overwhelming task. Delay does not simply mean waiting. It means surrendering to the weight of procrastination, letting it become a force that holds us back from progress. The act of postponing builds a habit. At first it may seem harmless, even rational. We tell ourselves that we will act once the circumstances are right, once we feel more prepared, or once the time feels perfect. But this waiting is not an innocent pause. It is a subtle erosion of willpower. Every time we choose to delay, we tell ourselves that we are not ready, that now is not the right moment, that action will be more appropriate later. Slowly these small choices accumulate, and we begin to see action itself as something daunting. We stop trusting ourselves to act in the moment, and instead, we wait for some external shift, a change in mood, a shift in circumstance, a burst of motivation that may never come. This cycle of delay feeds on itself. Each time we put something off, it becomes harder to act the next time. The idea of doing something difficult, uncomfortable, or uncertain starts to feel heavier, and we become increasingly convinced that tomorrow will be the better time. But in truth, tomorrow does not change anything. The same doubts, the same fears, the same uncertainties will greet us when we awake the next day, just as they greeted us today. And so we continue to delay, strengthening the chain of inaction that keeps us tethered in place. The consequences of delay are not always immediate, but they are always there, quietly building. Tasks left undone pile up, relationships go unaddressed, opportunities slip away unnoticed. What seemed insignificant when put off for a day or a week often becomes insurmountable as time passes. Each small delay we make takes something valuable from us, whether it is a chance to grow, a chance to learn, or simply a chance to move forward. The longer we wait, the more difficult it becomes to reclaim that lost time, that lost potential. Delay also fosters regret. We look back at the moments we could have acted, the things we could have done, and we realize how much time was wasted in the waiting. Regret, unlike failure, does not offer us the wisdom of experience or the strength of growth. It only leaves us with a sense of lost opportunity, a nagging awareness that we let something slip through our fingers because we could not bring ourselves to act. The chain of delay can be broken, but it requires a conscious effort. We must recognize that waiting is not benign, it is an active choice, one that strengthens the habits of hesitation and avoidance. The key to overcoming this is to take action, even when the timing feels imperfect, even when the way forward seems unclear. Every step taken, no matter how small, weakens the chains we have forged, and with each step we regain the freedom to act and the courage to face what we have been avoiding. It is easy to underestimate the power of small deeds. In a world that glorifies grand gestures, monumental achievements, and life-altering moments, the simple, quiet actions we take each day often seem insignificant by comparison. We tend to think that if we cannot do something big, something noticeable, something that will change the world, then it is not worth doing at all. But in truth, the small deeds, the ones we consider minor or inconsequential, hold far more power than we realize. A kind word spoken in passing can have a lasting impact on someone's day. A smile offered to a stranger can brighten their life, even if just for a moment. A simple act of gratitude or acknowledgement can heal wounds that have festered in silence. These small, seemingly inconsequential moments of action ripple outward, affecting not only those around us, but also ourselves. They change the atmosphere, lift spirits, and contribute to a sense of connection in ways that the grandest gestures often cannot. In our fast-paced world, we often fail to see the cumulative effect of these small acts. We may think they are too minor to matter, that they will be forgotten, that they do not have the power to create meaningful change. But change does not always come in dramatic bursts. More often, it is the quiet accumulation of small actions that shapes the course of our lives and the lives of those around us. Every choice we make, no matter how small, contributes to the person we become and the world we create. Think of a pebble thrown into a still pond. At first it seems like a tiny, insignificant object, hardly worth the effort. Yet as it strikes the water, it creates ripples that spread outward, touching the farthest edges of the pond. Each ripple may seem small, but in their collective movement they change the entire surface of the water. Similarly, our small deeds, no matter how insignificant they may appear in the moment, have the potential to create ripples of change, far beyond our initial intention. Small deeds also hold the power to build habits. When we commit to simple, positive actions, like showing up for someone, expressing gratitude, or taking small steps toward a goal, we are laying the foundation for greater things. These small actions, repeated consistently, strengthen our character, shape our habits, and eventually lead to greater achievements. The most successful people in any field are not those who make one great, sweeping action and expect that to carry them, but those who consistently show up and do the small, necessary things day after day. Small deeds have the power to influence others. One person's kindness can inspire another's, and that kindness continue to spread in ways we may never see. It does not take a grand act of generosity to make the world a better place. It takes many small, selfless acts done with sincerity and intention. The power of these actions lies in their ability to create a chain reaction of goodwill, each link building upon the last, until the impact is far greater than any single deed could have been on its own. We may not always see the direct results of our small actions, but that does not mean they lack power. Every small deed is a seed planted in the soil of life, and though it may take time to grow, it has the potential to blossom into something far greater than we can imagine. The small deeds, the quiet acts of kindness, and the simple choices we make each day are not insignificant. They are the foundation upon which everything else is built. To live without regret is perhaps one of the most noble and challenging pursuits in life. Regret at its core is the silent weight of missed opportunities, of actions not taken, of words left unspoken. It is a feeling that we all know too well, a reminder of what could have been, what should have been, had we made different choices. Yet, it is in the fear of regret that many of us find ourselves stuck, paralyzed by the thought of making the wrong move or facing failure. But regret in itself is not inevitable. It is not a fate we must accept as part of living. Rather, it is a result of inaction, of letting fear or uncertainty dictate the course of our lives. The path to living without regret begins with embracing the reality that we are in control of our choices. Regret often arises from the feeling that we were powerless, that we did not have the strength or courage to act when we should have. But this is an illusion. We always have a choice, even if that choice is difficult, uncomfortable, or uncertain. The regret we feel is often the result of choosing inaction over action, safety over risk, or comfort over growth. And while the fear of failure is real, the greater failure lies in allowing that fear to stop us from acting in the first place. Living without regret means choosing to act even when the outcome is uncertain. It means speaking the truth even when it is difficult or awkward. It means following our passions even when the road is unclear and the challenges seem insurmountable. It means taking the chances that life offers us, not because we are guaranteed success, but because we are guaranteed the opportunity to grow, learn, and evolve. Every choice made in courage, in the face of doubt, is a step toward a life with fewer regrets. Regret often stems from the what-ifs. The questions we ask ourselves when we look back on moments we allowed to slip by. What if I had spoken up? What if I had taken that job? What if I had confessed my feelings? What if I had followed my dreams? These are the haunting questions that linger in our minds when we fail to act, when we allow the chance to pass us by. But those what-ifs can only exist in the past, in the moments when we had the opportunity to choose but did not. The remedy to regret is not to dwell on those missed opportunities, but to take the opportunities that come before us now. Life is filled with chances, both big and small, and each one offers a new path. Living without regret requires us to see those paths, to step forward into them, and to make decisions that honor the present moment. It is not always easy to live boldly, to choose the unknown, to take risks, but it is in these very acts that we find fulfillment. The choices we make may not always lead to success, but they will lead to growth. And growth, ultimately, is the antidote to regret. Even if we fall, even if we stumble, we learn, we move forward, wiser, stronger, more capable. And when we reflect on our lives, it is not the failures we regret, but the moments we hesitated, the moments we chose comfort over challenge, the moments we let fear keep us from trying. Living without regret is not about avoiding mistakes. It is about living fully, with intention and without hesitation. It is about embracing each moment as an opportunity to act, to speak, to grow. It is about being at peace with the choices we make, knowing that every decision, every step brings us closer to the life we are meant to live. The true regret comes not from what we do, but from what we fail to do. And so we must act, we must live, and we must embrace the fullness of the life before us, knowing that in doing so we will have fewer regrets to look back on.